Hi guys, right, we're down here at Howley Hall Golf Club. Come to see Ryan Rastall, my pro here at Howley. I'm going to do a bit of an assessment of my season. We're going to start planning for next season, for 2018. I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to look over my season, have a look at my stats, see where I've done well, where I've done not so well, and start thinking about putting a plan together for 2018 to improve and get me to a single figure handicap. So let's go see Ryan. Let's go and have a look at my stats. Right, so here we are at the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall with Ryan, who you've obviously seen in a lot of my videos this year. And we're looking at this season and where it's gone okay. Yep. Not that many places. And where it's gone wrong, and more importantly, what we can do this winter to make it better next year.
Indeed.
So let's start with this season. Okay. My stats where I'm at right now. So I started, I think, at 16.2 or 3 or something, down to 13.7. So handicap has come down. Yeah. It's not the single figure I wanted.
Not quite.
So yeah, what do you think? How would you assess my season? You obviously see my scores and stuff every week.
I mean, I think you're obviously playing very regularly.
Yeah.
I would potentially question how much you practice in, and particularly what you're practicing when you are practicing. So, although the handicap's come down, which is obviously brilliant, you know, we haven't hit the target that we wanted. The target was fairly, I think, you know, it was going to be difficult to attain anyway. You know, getting down to single figures isn't easy for anyone who isn't in single figures and is trying themselves. You'll know how difficult it is. But I think potentially putting a plan together now where we look at what's good, what's bad about the game, maybe looking at your technique a little bit better, giving you something to practice over the winter and sort of measure how you're improving throughout that period when we're not playing much competitive golf, so that when we actually get round to competing again, you know, it's all well and good hitting great shots on the range, but we've got to be able to do it on the golf course. Absolutely, we've got to be able to take it to the course and play well. So yeah, I think it's a case of trying to put a detailed and pretty comprehensive plan together in order to help you improve. Really simple as that.
We've looked through the stats on Golf Shake, haven't we?
Absolutely.
So I track all my rounds on Golf Shake, so it's quite good because it means I can come to you and say, here's my rounds, my last 20 rounds, and you can really kind of see where. Because it's difficult when you're on the golf course. You often think, oh, I'm driving it really well, and you look at your stats and you're a bit like 3 fairways. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult as well from my perspective, because I see you hitting balls on either a practice ground in the room here, or occasionally we'll play a couple of holes, but that's only giving me a snapshot of your golf game. It's not telling me what you're like with a medal card in your hand, what it's like when you've started off well and you sort of getting into a round nicely, and then something goes wrong. How do you deal with that? Or similarly, how you deal with starting badly. How can you turn around back to, you know, you performing well? It's difficult for me to see that. So having a look at your stats, which that Golf Shake system that you're using is awesome. It's very, very in depth, and certainly if people were coming to me as a, you know, a golfer wanting to improve and had all this, it makes my job a hell of a lot easier as well. So I mean, having a look at that, we can see straight off the bat we're looking at things like how many greens do you hit in regulation, how many fairways do you hit. And we're looking at things like that on here. So greens in reg are about 25%, which is a little bit lower than we would expect for someone of your handicap. Fairways about 45%, so just less than half that you're aiming at, you're hitting. We've really looked at the stats for here as well, for Howley Hall.
Just for because that's the. I mean, when we were looking at my stats, my lowest rounds this year, so I've had 379 rounds, which are good, and all those rounds could have been lower if my putting had been better. But round here, I think my lowest round was 82, because it's a bloody hard golf course. It really is. It bites your ass dead easily, doesn't it? It just catches you out. And
I mean, you don't have to hit the ball a long way, but you have to hit it straight. And if we're looking at fairways, 45% of fairways, round a golf course like this, particularly where you're not having to hit driver much, that's not great, is it? I mean, there's a lot of short holes here where surely if we're hitting 3-wood or a hybrid or a long iron, the fairway is getting wider all the time, so we should be hitting more fairways, So for me, that is something we need to look at as well, greens in regulation, because we sort of look at that as well as like your scrambling stats and up and downs, and we're looking, if you miss a green in reg or you're in a bunker, we're only getting up and down 10% of the time. So you've either got to be awesome around the greens, or hit more greens, or both.
Yeah,
that's the best way of us, improving your overall score. We've got to chip and putt better, and we've got to hit more greens in reg. I think are the two main sort of areas we need to be looking at to focus on. Now, yes, there are long game issues we can look at, and potentially driving the ball better off the tee, not just with driver, but with, like I've said, woods, hybrids, long grinds.
Some cost management in there as well, isn't there?
Massively. Sure. I mean, it's difficult, when you have one game of golf a week and you've been working a lot, you want to come in and you want to hit driver everywhere, don't you? And get rid of some of the stresses of work, but that's maybe not the best idea around here sometimes. So it's maybe looking at certain holes and assessing whether you need to hit driver, and there's obviously a benefit to hitting fairways all the time, because when we look at stats there, we see that you make par more often when you hit the fairway, which is, you would expect that anyway. But if we can hit more fairways, you're going to make more pars, simple as that. So I think there is a course management side, but the short game and hitting more greens, so that comes to iron play as well. I know we've spoken before about, we've changed some of your equipment this year, so you found that you're hitting your irons further, so that's going to have an impact on
and that's taken a bit of getting used to as well, is hitting the new irons, and that took me a little while to get, because they were definitely longer. So that took a little while.
So straight away, you calibrating yourself is difficult, isn't it? Because you don't know how far each iron shot's going to go. So we're trying to make it so that you understand all your distances, so you understand the sort of shape you're going to put on the ball and things like that. But like you say, course management, hitting more greens, and making your short game better, I think are the three main areas we need to focus on over the off season and through the winter, really. I mean, if we're looking at your average score on your Golf Shake app, it's sort of low 80s really, but round here it's low 90s, which to me that's telling me that there's something you're doing here that you're not doing everywhere else. And I would think that it's maybe hitting some of the wrong clubs off tees and wasting some shots chipping out of trees when you could be going for the green, really.
I think the other thing this year has been as well, my game has been very much, I've not had enough lessons, I've not had consistency in lessons, so I've never really built anything particularly consistent. It's been very up and down. Some weeks, the last few weeks particularly, it's been in good shape. Right at the end of the season, which was a bit too late. But there was never really any consistency in my game, and I was fixing things more than I was actually just building something that was consistent.
So it becomes then reactive rather than proactive, doesn't it? So you're reacting to, I'm not hitting my driver well this week, or my putting's rubbish. Not over the season, I'm not hitting enough greens in reg, how do I sort that out? And whereas, hopefully we're going to build something now that you're going to hit the ground running in 2018 when the comps start again, and you know straight away that you're going to hit this many greens on average around that many fairways, and it's definitely going to be higher than what we've seen. So far, all right. So I think it's as simple as that. We can look at strengths and weaknesses very, very quickly when we're looking at, like, the Golf Shake system that you're using here is brilliant, really, and it's so in depth. I mean, you don't have to be quite as anal about your numbers as that, but I certainly think it helps, and like I've already said, it helps me put a plan together for you, and from that we can see very, very quickly what we need to work on. Okay, cool. So next steps would be? I think we're going to have an initial look at your golf swing. We're going to have a look at that. We'll look at how you hit short clubs, mid clubs, some of your longer irons and hybrids, and a driver. We're going to have a bit of a look at all of those. We obviously need to do a few changes to swing to make it more consistent and hopefully help you hit it straighter. But I think there's going to be a lot of focus on round the greens and hitting into greens. So round a shortish golf course like this, you're going to be hitting lots of shots from 100 yards and in. So we've got to work on that. And if we're only getting up and down 10% of the time around the greens, we've got to work on that as well. We need to work on that. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll get started pretty soon, next week or so, and we'll have a look at the swing. I think we need to have a look at least every couple of weeks. We'll put a good plan together of when you're practicing, you're not with me, what you're working on and how much time you devote to certain areas of the game. Not enough gets practiced, I don't think, of the short game, and people always want to go to the range and hit driver.
That's exactly what I do.
Whereas that is not going to lower your scores, generally speaking. We're going to be, I think, pitching, chipping, putting, they're the three, and sand shots, obviously. They're the four sort of areas we're going to look at. And but we'll be fine, don't you worry.
So there's a lot of work to do, isn't there?
Indeed. Well, we've got a long winter ahead. It's fine.
Okay, cool. So there we go, guys. That's my assessment by Ryan here at Howley Hall. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already got the Golf Shake app, make sure you go and check it out. It's free.
It's brilliant.
And it's really good. And you can use that with your pro, and it'll definitely help your game. So go and check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and follow me on this journey to single figures. Catch you again soon, guys.
Thank you.